Well, hello everyone and welcome back. My name is Spencer Brinkerhoff III, and today we are once again recording live from Studios B3. That's SB3 because I'm Spencer Brinkerhoff III. I say we're recording live, and what I'm really saying is that I'm not editing this. We're going to record a show. We're going to see how it goes. It is what it is. We are talking with all of the Star Wars, well, as many Star Wars artists who are willing to talk to us today about their art pieces and their participation in the Star Wars Celebration Orlando 2017. And today we're talking to Star Wars artist Brian DeGuire. Brian, welcome to the show, buddy.
Hey, thanks for having me, Spencer. How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. I've got my the video up here, and I can see right behind you. You've got two art prints. So you got the Mos Eisley Cantina on your right, and on your left, Jabba's Palace. So Jabba's Palace is the new one, right?
Right.
Now, is Mos Eisley the first Celebration art print that you did, or so this makes your second time in the show?
Yeah, that's correct. So, Celebration Europe, which was last year, was
Right.
my first time getting in, and so I got to go over to London, and I did that's where I did the Cantina print. So yeah, it was a cool time. So
Nice.
first
Nice.
time overseas. So and being over there with a bunch of Star Wars fans and other artists and stuff was definitely a way to do it. So
I thought you were going to say Star Wars nerds. Is that what you really meant
no,
to say? Is
no.
Star Wars nerds?
Well, I mean, I was one of them, so so if that's the
Exactly.
case, then yeah.
Now, I'm noticing that in these two pieces that you've done, and I really enjoy the animated and the cartoon style with them. You've made these sort of like they have a distressing to them, so it looks
Right.
like an old poster that's been folded up. What's the story behind the theme that you have going here?
Yeah, so so the idea was, I mean, you nailed it exactly. So my thought was with the with the Cantina one is kind of where it started was um, we've got posters all over for bars and eating establishments and whatnot in our world. So why wouldn't we have those in the Star Wars world? So and the Mos Eisley Cantina seemed like the perfect place to start there.
Right.
And a lot of the like in Rebels and stuff, they do such a good job with kind of the backgrounds and there's kind of like little things hidden in there, and I kind of almost imagined like this could be hanging somewhere, as Zeb and Chopper kind of run by or whatever. But yeah, that's the idea. So I figured that this poster or even the new one would be hanging you know, in the alley in Tatooine somewhere, and it's all old and beat up, and it's been there for a long, long time in a
Awesome.
galaxy far, far away. So
Exactly. Well, and I'm pretty sure that on my hard drive here, I have a folder that is labeled Nose Art. And I went through the Clone Wars, and when I'd see a new little like piece of artwork, so in sort of the same style as the World War II gunners and those the hand painted art that was on the front of the ships, they did that on the Clone Wars. And so I kept as much of that stuff as I could
yeah,
just for record. And you are making some more of this in-universe sort of like
yeah,
poster art. So let's
yeah,
let's kind of kick in and look at some of the details on this one. We start at the top and we see well, let me go back to this one. So turn your camera a little bit to show Jabba. I don't have the Jabba one up. So the Jabba's Palace one is all about, like advertise. Oh, I'm sorry. Jabba's Palace is the new one. The Mos
that's the new one.
Eisley
Yep, yep. Hmm.
Cantina, it has the band information there, right? And
Yep.
there's a little there. But on this new one, it says featuring Max Rebo Band, Jedi Rocks no longer played at the request of the mighty Jabba. What's up with that? No more Jedi Rocks?
So yeah, so the other thing, and the same in the last print, I really enjoy kind of like hiding little bits of humor, if you will, and
Right.
I feel like it complements my art style, so you might as well go with that. I enjoy a lot of art that can be, I guess, appreciated on different levels. So anybody can look at it and be like, "Oh, that's a cool picture. I like that."
Right.
But if you're a true Star Wars fan, you can kind of read some of these things and get some of the in jokes, if you will, and appreciate it on more than one level. So, so just like in the Cantina one, we had proudly not serving droids since
Right. Right.
1977.
Excellent.
Um,
Well
so
done.
so in Jabba's palace, that one, it was just kind of a little subtle jab at the special editions, which
Yes.
many of the diehard original trilogy fans will remember that as one of the scenes that had a lot of new CGI, and one of the new songs was the Jedi Rocks song.
Yeah, and
So
Sny Snoodles, is that how you say her name?
I think so. Yep. Yep. There was a new character too that was, yeah, exactly, right. And there was a lot of coming out at you 3D CGI stuff going on, but
Right.
that's okay.
Now, then the next thing that I noticed under there is hiring dancers, immediate openings, and then if let me see if I can zoom in on this one a little bit more, because I'm pretty sure that what I'm looking at here is a green inked Twi'lek with a X through it. So is this we don't want any more Twi'lek dancers, or just simply acknowledging that Ula has gone to the pit of despair?
I think a little bit of both, right? So I I figured that'd be something that Jabba would want to make sure he had on his poster, right? He's kind of going through dancers quite a bit, so he's always looking for more, I think.
Right. So with this idea, so are we following a sort of a sequence here, or maybe you're still like focusing on Jabba and Jabba's palace, but these sort of seem like they're going chronologically now. Is that the intention?
Well, funny you should ask. Honestly, when I applied for or submitted for the Celebration Europe, Jabba was kind of the first idea that I had, because I grew up, like, that's the one film that I remember the most growing up.
Yeah.
And the Jabba's palace scene, like, for me as a kid, I was like, oh my God, these characters are real. It's
Right.
it's all these cool aliens, and so I had all the toys and stuff, and I always I loved that scene and everything, and so it
I
was
thought.
something that popped into my brain, and I thought, this would be kind of a cool idea. But then I kind of felt like I had to start with Cantina because it just made the most sense. I didn't
Right.
think it would make sense to go Jabba and then go back to Cantina. So
Right. So that means that you actually thought, okay, for my first celebration, I'll do, the Cantina band, and then for my second celebration, I'll get back to Java then. So you've got this master plan. You want to tell us what you're going to do next celebration?
I wish I knew that, unfortunately, and I wish I knew that I was already in. That would be great. I could
Right.
start planning now for what 2019, I think, right?
Yeah, well, I don't know what they're gonna do. So it seemed like for a while they were going every other year, and then they started doing the international shows, and that made it
Right.
be like every year. And so I don't know. Well, I think that there was an announcement just recently from Disney that there's going to be 15 years solid of new Star Wars movies coming out. So I mean,
Yeah.
this will go indefinitely. And one,
Yeah, I think I read somewhere in 2019, which makes sense because if I'm not mistaken, that's the when the Star Wars land opens up in
oh, in
Disneyland and
Disneyland.
Disney World. So, I
Awesome.
mean, that's
Awesome.
perfect cross promotion, right? They know
Well,
what they're doing over at Disney.
and maybe what that'll also mean is that they'll move it back to Anaheim, and when they go into
Right.
Anaheim, they'll do it. So I'm actually not going to be at Celebration this year, and so I took the state of Arizona's flag and I superimposed that on the Star Wars Celebration logo, and I thought, okay, Star Wars Celebration Phoenix 2017. All of you guys who aren't going to make it to Florida can come over to my house. We'll watch a movie or something. I don't know.
Perfect. I, I, hey, if I wasn't in the art show, I'd be there.
No, you wouldn't.
Sure,
Indiana
I
is.
would.
You're in the art show, so that's super fantastic. And with
Thanks.
that, I will also put a quick plug in here for you as well. Is that your art print is currently on sale for pre-order? And you want to give some details on the pre-order information?
Yeah, so it's out there. So I'm going to be in the Acme art area. So I'll be hanging out with everybody that's in there, and so as such, it's currently up on the Acme website. So on darkink.com, I think there's a big banner when you go there. So yeah, it's up there. It's $40.
Awesome.
Yeah, definitely go out there and pre-order it. And actually, a quick other plug. If you venture out to any of my social media sites, you will probably find a link to Etsy, because I actually still have some of the I can't am I pointing
Yeah,
at it?
yeah,
I
you're
still
pointing the right way. Yeah.
I still have some of the Cantina prints as well. So, if you saw Jabba and thought, "Oh man, I never made it out to Europe and I'd really like to have both of them."
Right.
Guess what? I'm gonna have some of those at the show as well. And out on Etsy, you can go out and pre-order those now for pickup at the show. So.
Awesome. So, oh, yeah, well, that's great. So then if people want to go ahead and pre-order both prints, they can order and then just pick them up together. Okay.
Exactly.
So
Yeah,
you
I'm
have,
trying to make it easy
yeah,
for
you're
everybody.
you're gonna have to keep track of all of those names so that you can be ready to go, right?
Yep.
And it looks like both of the prints are the same size. What size
Yep.
are your art prints?
18 by 24. I tried to make them a size that you can easily get a frame for. So, if you got Walmart or Target or wherever you're at in the world, I'm sure there's an equivalent to either of those stores.
Right.
You can get a quick frame and throw it in there and be ready to go. So,
Awesome.
yeah.
So then the other characters that are in here, how did you decide, which characters were going to be part of this art piece? So right underneath the hiring dancers, we have our immediate opening, and then we have Bib Fortuna, and then we have the Grimorian Guard, and then that snake guy. I only remember him as an action figure, right?
Exactly.
I don't even remember
Right.
his name.
It's a monomon.
Amon. Do
Right.
do 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 do. Right?
I'm sure if
Amon.
that's I don't know if I don't know if that's how it's pronounced. Maybe he has a theme song. He should. Yeah. So a lot of it was kind of based on kind of the action figures and things that I remembered having, and honestly, like I said, I loved that scene. So and I simply obviously I love drawing Star Wars aliens.
Right.
And so it was really hard to kind of narrow it down. There was a lot of contenders in there, but you've got the limited space. So I tried to hit all the major ones, but then throw enough of the kind of random background guys like Amon Aman and Rigis to just kind of cover all the bases.
Right.
So.
Now, did you feel a certain sense of obligation to include Boba Fett? I mean, is it just sort of like a given that he has to be there in the print?
Yeah, I think so. And it was definitely the opportunity to include him because, obviously he wasn't in the cantina scene. So,
Right.
but
Right.
but yeah, I mean, he's pretty prominent, obviously, in Return of the Jedi and the whole Jabba's palace scene. So I felt like, yeah, he should be in there.
And
Definitely.
now, as we sort of move down through the print, is this poor little Jawa down at the bottom? Is his job to like fan Jabba? Is that what he's doing? He's just sort of like making sure that Jabba is cool, and he's got the big palm frond, and he's taking care of him.
Yep, that's what he's doing.
That's what Jawas are good for, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Now, let me see if there's we've worked all the way down the art print from the top to the bottom, and we have the final piece. It's called Desert Palace, but it's Jabba's palace, Tatooine's safest pit of Carcoon cruises since 1983. So our first one had the reference to 77. Our second one has the reference to 83. And so then our last one, we're going to go ahead and be a Jedi one. Yeah. Oh, wait, no. We're not talking about that one yet.
I skipped Empire, but there's not a lot of, there's not any cool hangouts at Empire. So I don't know. We'll have to go like Maz's castle or something. I'm not sure. We'll have to think about that.
I flashed over the images and I showed somebody else's art really quick. Sorry about that.
It's okay.
This is live. That's what it is. I'm pushing buttons. If you see me look down, I'm trying to get my fingers in the right place.
It's
Now,
okay. There's tons of cool art there. So I mean, there's something for everybody. So.
Now, when you're putting together your art prints, I think that you've got a unique style. You've got an animated style, which I really enjoy. Do you feel like it's more difficult, or is it easier to do this caricature of the design, or is it sort of like you don't have to be as rigid because in the end you're not drawing something photorealistic? Does that make it easier, or do you think it's more difficult to draw in this style?
I guess it's hard to say, right? Like, there's so many great photorealistic artists, in the show and, just everywhere that do that. And and they're awesome. I'd love to be able to draw like a photorealistic Princess Leia or whatever, but that's just that's not my lot in this Star Wars art world. So,
Oh, you were
um,
so close. You were so close. Just say it, man. You can be 3PO. We're nerds. We can quote it.
but yeah, no, I mean, I've always been influenced by, I mean, just any kind of animation, whether it be Disney animation, a lot of the early Clone Wars micro series
Oh, yeah.
stuff. I've gotten a lot of that. I got a lot of that actually with the last print. People saying, hey, that kind of reminds me of something from the Clone Wars micro series, and I loved those. So yeah, I love doing that. I mean, it's just kind of fun being able to kind of put your spin on the characters, but I mean, people know them and they love them, and so they're able to recognize the characters, and it's just fun, kind of being able to make them like a Saturday morning cartoon style. Which I mean, that's actually that's one of the things that actually drew me into this was your art. So a quick plug for you,
Oh,
because I mean there's so many, like I said, of those great photorealistic stuff, but
right.
I've got a few of your pieces from celebrations past, and
Thank you.
seeing those, I was like, hey man, people are into this
Yeah.
too. I mean, and
Yeah.
they enjoy that, so I can maybe try my hand at it as well. So
Yeah, there's a place for the cartoon art, and I think that and I may have said this before, not in this sort of like this Celebration 20 Orlando 2017 series. I haven't said it yet, but I mean, when I first looked at all of the Celebration artwork, and I found out that I was going to be part of the art show, I looked through and I kind of went, what am I going to do? I mean, how I can't compete with these guys. They're so wonderful, but everyone was doing these photorealistic montages, and I thought, if I have the opportunity to create my own Star Wars, it's going to be Saturday morning cartoon shot with a cinematic lens, so I want a depth of field to it, but I still want it to be a cartoon, and you're doing it too. So huzzah
right.
for the cartoon guys, right?
Yeah, I mean that's the cool thing, and being at Celebration Europe, it was my first one. I was overseas. I had no idea what to expect,
Right.
and here I am at a table between Christian Wagner and Robert Hendrickson that have these amazing, painted
Right.
pieces of artwork, and I'm thinking, oh my God, like, they're looking over here, look at this guy's doodles over here, but I mean, how it is there. I mean, it's kind of by the end, it's like a small family, and
Oh yeah.
you know everybody's so supportive, and the thing is the people that come through. I mean, there's people that buy those types of prints. There's people that buy the cartoony types of prints. There's people that buy both. I mean, so
Right.
that's the beauty of art, and of this art show. And I'm really happy that they continue to take like a variety of styles and techniques
Yeah.
and stuff, because
Yeah.
it's really cool. So to see the
No.
diversity. But yeah, like I said, everybody is awesome
Yeah.
to hang out with. So
They've changed up the process a little bit from when I first started in the Celebration art shows, and initially it was an invitation only sort of a thing, and so you had to sort of like say I'm interested, and then they would invite you. And now it's they're working towards more of a curated art show where they're getting a little bit of everything, and I don't feel like it. Looking at the artwork that's in the show, I don't feel like they went through and said, well, we've got 4 Vaders and we can't have any more. I don't think it's really that curated, but I think that they did take the time to kind of say, I like this artwork and it's different than this one, so we have this variety in it. And so
right.
there's a couple of these animated style pieces that are in the show that help to offset all of the realistic, and the photo
Right.
stuff. Now, speaking of sort of like, the animation, and speaking of sort of talking about the family that kind of comes together at these art shows, I want to talk a little bit about sort of like, the other family aspect is, this is a job, and a lot of people kind of go, man, you're in Star Wars. You made it. You must be like you're the top of your game. Is this the top of, and not the top of the game? Is this your full-time job? Are you able to do artwork full-time, or is this sort of like in your hobby space? Because right now it's definitely in my hobby space and my side
Right.
because I'm not doing it full-time.
Right. Yeah. No, I don't do it full time. But what I what I do
You
full
said
time.
you did
I
it.
did,
You
didn't
said
I?
doo-doo. What I
That's like
do.
that's a reference to Friends, right? For anybody that's old enough to remember that,
Okay,
right?
skip that reference. Go.
But yeah, for me, it's a great outlet because I don't get to use the side of my creativity brain at my day job. So this is just something that actually I guess I can tell a little bit of a backstory that includes you as well. So kind
Uh-oh.
of where I started with this is with sketch cards.
Right.
I think it was way back in 2009, I believe. So that was probably around the time you did your first celebration, right?
Yeah,
In
2000,
Japan, I think.
2008 was my first one.
Okay. So, and I'm sure a lot of people listening probably know of the site rebelscum.com, and there's
Right.
cool forums on there that a lot of there's an art area specifically, and so a lot of the artists are on there. Like yourself, Tim Proctor. I'm trying to think of who else was on there back in the day.
Right.
A bunch of people. But anyway, a long time ago, in a galaxy far away, in
There it is.
2009,
There it is.
you you I think I already used that reference once already though. But
No,
anyway,
we're good.
but you used to do these sketch card giveaways
Oh,
where
right.
you would put up a phrase or something, and
Yep.
the first person to respond with a character, you would draw that on a sketch card and send it to them. And I was actually lucky enough to win twice. I actually have one of them right here.
Wait, which one is it? Oh, yeah, I remember that one.
Boba Fett. And then there was another one that you sent me that was Greedo, and I
Uh-huh.
think at some point we had chatted maybe back and forth or whatever, and I had mentioned that I collected a lot of art and I used to draw, but I hadn't really done it in a long time. And on one of the cards you sent me, you said, hey, you need to get those markers and things out and dust them off and start drawing, and so I did, and eventually that led to sharing art online and kind of
Right.
getting feedback and input, which led to me going to having things to go show to other artists and to people at Star Wars Celebration. It was the first one in Orlando. That was 5, I think.
Yeah, I
So,
think that was 5.
so yeah, so actually I was able to, do, show stuff to Tops there, and I got on doing sketch cards. So that's kind of
Awesome.
where I started, and that's led to here. So
Right.
yeah, it's definitely, when I was walking around at those art shows showing people my art, I was saying like, one day would be
Yeah.
awesome
Yeah.
to
See,
be on
and
the other side of the table. So
and that's the thing, and so it's a kinship to the Star Wars side of thing, right? You watch Star Wars and you see this hero's journey, and you think this was just a normal kid who found out that there was something special inside of him that allowed him to sort of like be more than he was as a farm boy, right? So you had your farm boy moment, and you kind of went, hey, I was just doing this thing. I was doodling. I was checking it out. You got in with the top sketch cards, and that made you an official sort of like a Star Wars artist, which made you eligible to submit to the art show. And then there you are. How many celebration did you submit to before you got into this one?
so before I got into the Europe one, actually that was my first time submitting, was in Europe. So I had really been kind of hesitant to do it, but I actually got quite a lot of encouragement. Some actually from one of the artists you had recently is Joe Hogan,
Yep.
because we both started sketch
Joe, I got
cards,
to redo your interview. Don't.
right?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I messed it up.
We'll blame Joe. Joe messed it up.
Yes, it's Joe.
But yeah, he was we both started at the same time, and we both kind of did more of the cartoony or comic book or stylized artwork on the sketch cards. So we kind of met through that, and I know he had applied a few times and basically told me to get moving on it.
Right. See, and
So I
that's the
did.
thing. We're not just a community of friends. We're nags as well.
Come on, on, get it together, man.
Hey, you put it together. You try it, I try it, and we also we have a community online that we can sort of like share our artwork and sort of get a little bit of feedback back and forth. And it's a process, and it's wonderful that we can still sort of like grow and learn and share together and stuff.
Yeah.
Now we're getting close to sort of like our cutoff sign, and before we get too much further, in addition to your celebration piece that you have at this show, your new exclusive, you're also going to have the Mos Eisley piece. Are you going to have some sketch cards? Because that's where it all started. Are you going to be doing some live sketches at your table and doing that stuff?
Yeah, I probably will. I did a little bit of that in at Celebration Europe, so I probably will as well. I don't know yet exactly who I will have helping me man my table, or how often I'll have somebody. So, that may inhibit me from doing as many sketches as I want, because, I mean, obviously I don't want to be sitting there with my head down and missing everybody as they pass by. But yeah, definitely.
That one sketch is going to take 5 hours to finish, because you got to look down, and then you got to start talking, and you got to look down. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And so yeah, but definitely, if I'll bring some stuff with me, and
awesome.
If people are there for 4 days, if they don't mind, waiting a day or something, I can always work on them in the hotel room or something.
Awesome.
So.
Well, don't work too much in the hotel, because there's plenty of things to do outside of the show. Now, in addition to your art piece, let me go back to scaling this thing up really big. I'm on this image. Oh, geez. The image is huge, and I can't get it to zoom down right now. There we go. In addition to your art piece, your new exclusive, you've also sent me this drawing as well. I'm moving things around in a really weird way. It's live, ladies and gentlemen. For those of you who may or may not be aware of the Droid Hunt, there is a little game that they play at the celebration. Are you familiar how it works? Can you explain this, or you want me to explain it?
Yeah, it's so basically, I think it's Saturday, I believe. I can't remember specifically when they can pick up the badges, but yeah, so it's through the 501st Legion, and they hand out these badges that people wear on for a specific time on. Sorry, I'm trying to look at the directions here. So yeah, they wear them on Saturday, and then they have to wear them prominently somewhere, and then I think there's troopers hunting around for the droids, right? The droids they're looking for.
Exactly. So you drew some new artwork for the Droid Hunt game, and what happens is it becomes a sort of a drawing. If you can avoid getting caught, then you get an extra drawing into the game. But you go to the 501st area, and you can grab this card. And if you make it out there, you can go down to Brian, and Brian will sign it for you, right?
Yep. Yeah, definitely. And I think I'll have a few actually at my table to probably give out as well. So
awesome. And then afterwards, I think that people can get the cards back afterwards as well, so they can hold on to them.
Yep.
So
yep.
Maybe you shouldn't sign them until afterwards, because if they get taken, they're gone.
That's right. Yeah. So Sunday maybe, right? If they're done on Saturday, they bring them back Sunday.
Awesome. Well, Desert Palace by Brian DeGuire. We're at limited edition to 250 pieces. In addition to that, there's the Droid Hunt badge. You can pick up this 18 by 24. Is that right?
18 by 24. Yep.
For $40.
Yep, correct.
And you can get that online through Acme at Dark Ink Art, or you can follow Brian and all of his social media. Now, is all of your social media the same sort of like ID name?
Yeah, so Brian DeGuire Art should be pretty easy to remember, but, but yeah, I'm on. I post a lot on Facebook and Instagram. I'm not as good at posting on Twitter. I'm trying to be better, but I just created that literally before the last celebration. So, the 3 people that have accidentally followed me are always up to date. But yeah, so hopefully we'll get a few more people on there after this show or before the show. But yeah, you can check all those out there, like I said. But
I don't know. This show is literally seen by tens of people, and so it's just an opportunity for us to talk. Actually, I'm going to do a quick shout out too. So thank you to the Force.net. Thank you to Jedi News. Thank you to Mint in Box. All of these guys have been sharing around the videos, because it's an exciting time for us as we're gearing up for celebration. And a big part of that excitement is being able to see brand new art created by officially licensed Star Wars artists. And that's you, Brian. You're official, man.
I'm excited. It's awesome.
You got to use that to get into the parties, right? You just say, "Don't you know who I am?" That's how it works, right?
That's right. Yeah. They'll be like, "No, we don't. Go away."
Yes, exactly. Yeah, it still happens to me. Don't worry about it. Well, Brian, thank you very much. And again, I am Spencer Brinkerhoff III. You can follow me at SpencerB3, recording live from Studios B3. Brian, thanks for being with us today.
Thanks, Spencer.
See you, man.
Bye.
Bye-bye.